Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto City. And now, please welcome to the stage your host, CityGirl.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight with us. I appreciate you showing up for Crypto City this week. I apologize in advance that I'm having some slight technical difficulties with some drift. If you've been around in AltSpace for a while, you know what this is. So I'm going to try and stay in place, but if I do skate across the stage, just laugh with me. It's good. It's all good. So I trust that since the news about AltSpace going away, that you guys have been checking out other platforms, especially if you were here last week and we talked about a bunch of them. Hopefully, you caught one of the Utopia events that happened this past week to hear about Utopia VR. So that was one that we didn't know about before, and that's actually really exciting as well. I think it's great that there's so many different platforms out there right now, and there's a lot of new players coming out and trying to create apps that will give us what we want and what we need to effectively do business in here, have fun, and socialize. They're kind of encompassing all of it. But the one thing that they all seem to kind of have in common is that they're listening. Right now, this is a great time to petition for what you want because everything might not happen all at once. Some of these apps are offering, certain things that other apps are not. Some are better for events, some are better for entertainment. They all don't offer everything yet, but it seems like a lot of them are being very reactive to what we ask for. So that's great. Right now it's almost like, how like in the housing market, you've got a buyer's market and a seller's market. Right now, it's an avatar's market. What we're asking for, they're listening and they're trying to give it to us. So I think that's great. And even though everything might not happen all at once, AltSpace, even though it's small in numbers by comparison to some of these other worlds, we know that they know we're a community of doers. We're in here hosting events. We're in here throwing parties. We're in here doing things. We're not just, standing around socializing. There's so much that happens in AltSpace. So because we host events, typically that brings audience. If it brings audience, they're going to want us because they're going to want to bring more people onto their platform. So remember, you don't have to be on just one platform. You can spread your wings, explore, and just because one platform might become your quote unquote home, that doesn't mean that you can't go play out in the neighborhood with all your friends too. So keep that in mind. Also, some exciting news this week. I don't know if any of you caught this, but Amazon is investing heavily into Web3 gaming. There are projects that are in place right now with them that include blockchain-based games. Some of them are like play to earn, and they have rewards like free NFTs. And why would a platform selling services kind of get involved in gaming? Why gaming for such a product-based company? Well, partly because Amazon owns Twitch, and Twitch is currently the largest game streaming app in the world. So 31 million daily active users on Twitch, and they're either viewers or consumers. That's a lot of people. And because partly also because Web3 startups, they raised $7.1 billion in funding in 2022. 62% of that was for gaming. And, that's big. That is huge. Amazon is huge. They want to be the contender. So they're moving into the platform that they see where everybody is going. So I would expect some big things to be happening in this next year from Amazon. They also have a big NFT initiative coming as well. So keep your eyes open because this is going to be happening. So tonight we have a special guest coming on. Her name is CyberShay. Many of you might know her from around AltSpace, and she has just gone on a very remarkable journey of doing education here in the metaverse. So we're going to throw up some warm welcomes and bring out CyberShay. Come on down and join us. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We're really great to have you on the show. We know you've been in the audience many times, and we kind of got talking. And I thought that your journey of forwarding your education here in the metaverse is very interesting. So let me ask you, when and how did you become involved with VR? How long ago did you get in here?
I got into VR probably about 9 months ago, and I
Okay,
got in
so
because actually got in because I did this NFT project, and they were giving away a free apartment in the metaverse. It was in the multiverse.
okay,
You bought the NFT, so that's how I ended up um, getting into VR. So I joined the
okay.
multiverse to get the apartment I got from the NFT.
So from Multiverse, did you just happen to stumble across AltSpace? How did you come over into here?
When I got into multiverse, I met some friends in multiverse. I made a lot of friends, and they were going to different platforms, and I just decided. They told me about AltSpace and some other platforms, and they was like, "Come, let's hang out at AltSpace," and that's how I ended up at AltSpace.
Love it. I love to hear that the community bringing people around and introducing you to new things. And I'm glad that you were open to learning some new things too. So when you joined AltSpace initially, I assume you kind of did what we did. You world hop, you jump around, and you kind of check out some events, see what everything's going on. How did what made you get interested in learning more about how all this works?
I started learning more about how this worked because I had some friends that I met in the multiverse that were taking classes to be builders, and they were in some school that was very expensive. And then when I came into AltSpace, I met I think it was Meta Day,
Mm,
and she was telling me that they have classes, but you don't have to pay all that money for classes, like what they're paying. And she sent me some places to look at. Then I met El Boogie, and she was telling me about the school because she works at school.
okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right. So that was actually it's called the International Institute of Education. Is that what it's called?
yeah, they call it the
For people who
IIE school. Yeah,
okay.
call it.
So you found out about them. I assume they have a presence here in AltSpace, which is where you ended up connecting with them. So before you got into, before you decided you wanted to further this, how much experience in computers or technology did you have before getting involved? Did you have a background in that, or is this something that's all relatively new to you?
I've been in IT for 8 years. I started in tech support. Then I did that for like 5 years, and then I transferred into cybersecurity. So now I'm a cybersecurity engineer, and I've been doing that for 3 years. So I decided um, I wanted to learn how to build on the side too, just to have something
Nice.
extra to do and another hobby.
I love
And
it. I love it. So
that's
your
how I
real
got it.
life crossed over into here and been, combining the skills. That's great. So now tell us, okay, what was this school like? What were the classes like? Was it just Unity? Were there other things? What exactly did you learn when you went there?
When I went to the class, I first started. They have a lot of programs there. Actually, they don't only teach Unity. They taught Blender. They also taught MRE. They taught Spanish. They had a GED school and
Wow.
horoscope astrology. So
Okay.
they had so much stuff at this school in all space. And it wasn't they didn't charge you, but they took like donations if you want to donate. So
That's
since
amazing.
it was they were giving the education away, I decided to take advantage of it. Since you didn't really have to pay much out of your pocket. And
Hmm.
I took like the Unity, the Blender, and the MRE. Those are the three that I took in the classes.
Now, You have a background in computers, but do you feel that the way that they taught was pretty open to people who may not have such a strong computer background?
Yes, I have some friends that were in the classes that didn't have any IT background and did well in the classes. They start from the basics of Unity. Like, teacher was very, very good. Like, he came in and he started from the basic. He took us to worlds and showed us how to position, how how things are positioned in Unity. There's like a role that he showed us
Hmm?
that
Okay.
he said that we should get to know. That went again north, east, west, south, like that type of thing. You should know.
So they kind of gave taught by example, bringing you into a world so that you see what you're actually doing when you're in the software. This is the outcome on the other end.
Correct. Yeah. And the good thing about it, the classes were 3 days a week. So it was
Okay.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They were for 6 weeks. It was for
That's
eight
not bad.
weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah. The session was 8 weeks because it was the Christmas break and around the last time I took it. But
Okay.
it's usually for 6 weeks and it's for 3 days a week, 1 hour.
Now the schedule for obviously most people work during the day, or a lot of people do, and so the schedule are the classes held at night so that it's flexible with your schedule.
Classes were at 6 p.m., 7
Okay.
p.m. Sometime they went
Mhm.
over. I know they would say they were probably gonna start a daytime, but I don't know when they would do that. But ever since I've been going to classes, they were mostly in the evening.
Okay. Well, that's pretty. I mean, that works for most
Yeah.
people's schedules. If they work during the day, if they do end up making daytime ones, that would be great for people who are actually, who have second shift jobs and stuff. So
Yeah.
the schedule seems, 6 weeks is not that bad. I mean, that's a lot less time than if you were going to like college or something, or taking, night courses. Sometimes they run, 10 to 12 weeks. So 6 weeks isn't bad. And you went in there and you said you took Unity, MREs, and Blender. Now, Unity and Blender, both of those software are free for people to download and use. So you download the
Yeah.
software, you can use it for free. You're going to these classes technically for free, other than if you want to make a donation. You're giving of
Yes.
your time, but you're getting something huge back out of it. Now, do you feel coming out of the class, so 6 weeks later, that you felt confident that you could build worlds and, bring in kits and put in MREs? I mean, do you feel like it was a strong class for 6 weeks at no cost, that you can actually come out and do things?
Yes. It was. I think it was a strong class. But what happened with me is I started the beginners class, and for some reason the beginners class after like 2 classes got canceled because something
Okay.
was happening within the teacher's schedule, so it was canceled. They ended up starting the classes again, like probably 3 weeks later, but they started with the advanced class. So I ended up jumping into the Unity advanced class and start with that class. So I kind of skipped beginners, but I had some friends that that were in the beginners, so they showed me some of the steps that I probably missed. But
Okay.
even the beginners even the advanced class that I was in kind of helped you get through it. It wasn't that like tense that you couldn't really get through it. But
Mhm.
I made sure that I came to every single class. I didn't miss one class. Make sure that I was able to do the project because we had a big project that we had to do at the end.
Nice. Okay. So you come into the class just like this, into a world in AltSpace. Now, are they showing, is some of the demonstration up on screen, so you're actually watching videos and stuff so they can show you? So are you doing a screen share with the instructor and he's showing you what he's doing so you can do it on your own as well?
The instructor actually has a big screen up in the classroom and tells us that we can have our laptops out to follow around because you to follow him and
Mhm.
you should have a laptop before you get into class, either gaming laptop, one that can handle the applications. That's
Okay.
one thing that you're going to be required for the class. So a lot of the time, we had our laptops out while watching the teacher on the board. So you're using the headset and the laptop at the same time.
Okay. Okay. And do you feel like, just for people who are in here who might be interested in learning a little bit more? I mean, this class, I know AltSpace is going away, but are they able to do these educational classes on other platforms? So when AltSpace is no longer here, will this still be available?
They said they're gonna bring it to a lot of platforms. They said it's not only gonna be on AltSpace. He said even though AltSpace is going away, they're gonna bring the school to other platforms too. They're trying to make the school a global school, so they're gonna bring it other platforms.
Okay. That's good to hear, especially for us who like, I know myself, I'm definitely interested in finding out more about this so I can get a little bit of some basic skills going on here. I can do very little right now, but I definitely would love to be able to do more. So, tell us about the certificate that you earned. Do you feel that now that we're leaving AltSpace, you'll be able to use these skills and go into these other platforms, because Unity is accepted in a lot of the other platforms? Is that your goal, to be able to maybe create some worlds and bring them into the other ones?
Yes, that's my goal. Like I just have most thing you gotta do is find out what Unity version you need for each platform because each platform is a different Unity. So you gotta make sure you're using the right Unity for the right platform for your
Hmm.
projects. So yeah, my goal is to build like right now in that class we learn how to build terrains. So that's what I know how to do now. And then teacher was very helpful for us. He had like time outside of class to help us with things. So if we ever got stuck on something, he always helped us because I had asked the teacher about like maybe training like outside
Hmm.
after class for things that I didn't learn in class.
I love to hear that. I love that, that he's, that
Yeah.
they're not just, nope, I'm off schedule, don't talk. I feel like the Yalt Space community in general, everybody wants to help each other. You can ask people questions, and typically they're pretty helpful. If you're putting the effort in, people are willing to, give back a little bit of help to you. And so I love that you've been able to find that within this instructor. So tell me, what are your plans, with the skills that you've learned? Yeah, you're going to create a few worlds or whatever. Are you thinking that this will be just for a hobby, or are you thinking that this is something that you want to do, like, to make some money, like create some worlds, maybe sell them in the other platforms? Or is this something you're doing for your own enjoyment?
I think I want to like eventually probably start a business somehow. Because I do cybersecurity also.
Hmm.
So like something with security and the metaverse together, and then
And
learning how to
there's a
build
lot of
worlds.
security needed.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of security, and then learn how to build worlds too at the same time. I can
Hmm.
incorporate like doing consulting and building the platform. At the same time, I like selling the product.
I love to hear that. I know, yesterday when we were at the Utopia, little convo that they had, one of the things they were talking about is security with MREs, because there are people who go in and they hack the MREs. So that might be someplace
Mhm.
where you could be a big benefit if you can figure out how to help people, secure their MREs better so that people cannot get in and hack them and do damage, unfortunately, which sometimes can, cause some problems within worlds. But I do know that, other platforms are working hard on that. So that might be a place where your skills might fit in nicely.
In our classes, they telling us like there's certain ways that you can create the MREs. Like some ways that you create it can be a security risk, and there's some ways that you can do it that it'll be more that people can't really hack them. So it depends on the way the MRE is made.
Hmm.
Yeah, like even like in our class, he said, "Oh, like our class, our teacher said, make sure you do it this way. Don't do it that way because that way has a potential of it being hacked." So there's
Great. I
certain
love that they're
ways that,
teaching you safety.
yeah, to
Mm.
do the MREs to make it more safety. It won't be hacked.
Now, do you see yourself going back to one of their other classes? Because you said they offer a bunch of different ones. Do you see yourself going back in and taking any additional classes? And do you recommend to other people go and take these classes if they have interest in, learning how to build and to do more within Unity and Blender?
Yeah, I'm going back to the MRE class. MREs is going away because I think because of AltSpace. So he
Okay.
kind of switched the class around. He made it into a 3D immersive object class, kind of like. So he kind of changed the class now, so
Mhm.
we can take whatever we make to different platforms, and it won't just be like for AltSpace. So he revised the class. The MRE teacher revised the class for us. So that's what we're starting now. We just started last week.
Okay.
And
All right.
those
So you're
classes are
back
on
taking more.
Tuesdays.
Okay. So tell us, what are some of the things that you were able to create? You said you made terrain. Like, tell us some of the things that you were able to create after learning these skills.
Only made right now, we made a Black Panther world. Like everybody in class
Mm.
had to make a Black Panther world. And my first project was a terrain. That's all I really did was the terrain, but he did show us how to do some automation in there. And he showed us how to but it's called rendering texture, when you can make something in the world glow, kind of like with and change colors.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
never like did any of those before, and how to put light in some areas of the world.
Mm. And you mentioned also is about adding sound into different things as well. Is that something that you
Yeah,
you you had
sound.
mentioned that earlier? They taught you that in class?
Yeah, access. They showed us how to put sounds into the world, like how to make the sound in the whole world and how to make it in certain sections of the world. And he taught us that how to do that too. And then
Okay,
in
so
order for us to graduate, yeah,
instead of having like the music player, you can actually have
mhm,
music already in the world.
yeah. When as soon as somebody step into the world, you can hear the music.
Very cool. So now we only have a few weeks left before AltSpace goes away. Are you using those skills in here right now to kind of play around and keep honing them in and practice with doing different things, or are you already starting to build in the other platforms?
I haven't started building the other platforms yet. I've just been practicing on making terrains, like different kinds of terrains. Like now I'm trying to add understand how to add water in to the terrains.
Ooh.
I've been practicing on that, trying to get how to do that right first before I start going into like building like buildings and houses. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that part first.
Okay. No, I know water has always been challenging on most of the worlds that we see in here. Some people
Yeah.
do water really well, and other people, it's tricky, it's challenging, and you can tell when you walk into a world because if it's got good water, people walk in and they're just like, "Ooh, look at that! Like the water looks
Yeah.
amazing." In other worlds, you're just like, it's just low poly water." So that's
Mhm.
if that's one that you're focusing on, that'll actually increase the curb value of a lot of the worlds. Tell us a little bit more about, with the MREs, what are you learning to do with an MRE? Like, give us an example of, because there's so many different MREs that are in here. Are they wearables? Are you using
Yeah.
like, spawnable objects? What is it that you're creating?
He's doing different things. Like one time he had us make a cube, like had to make a floating cube and put pictures all over the cube, and then we could spawn them in like our worlds because he gave us the I guess the MRE thing to spawn it.
Hmm.
Then we also did a controller that you can play a radio, and you can mirror comes out, a TV come out when you press it, like a controller. Did that.
Okay. So are you creating these MREs, or are these ones he gave you to like to play around with an example of, or are you actually recreating it?
we recreated it. It's JavaScript that we have to use to create it. So we have to
Mhm.
open up our laptops. The process is open up our laptops, and then code is he has the code there. We have to copy the code, and then from there we have to enable it so it'll show up in the classroom, or
Mhm.
either in the classroom or it'll show up on our table. Because the table that we use in class has the same thing that you would find in your world. It's like laptops.
Okay. Sorry, I glitched there a little bit.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it seems like you've learned a lot of a lot of variety of different things, but you're putting all the little pieces together to try and be able to create bigger things down the road. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, for a class for people who don't know how to do anything, to be able to learn how to do some of this stuff is pretty exciting. For me, I've used Unity, to create kits and stuff. I have fought with Unity. I have threatened my laptop more than it should be legal. I have gotten so frustrated. I've walked away. I've spent practically in tears sometimes. Unity is not the easiest program to learn, but it's a lot easier to learn when you have somebody guiding you and you have some instruction. So, I mean, I think that the fact that they're allowing people to come and learn for free and have a little community there where people are working together. You mentioned El Boogie was with you in the class, and now she's here to support you. I mean, that's great. I love hearing that people, worked together, and the fact that you got put into the advanced class without completing the beginner class and still was able to complete everything. That shows that you had a good support system around you. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I had some good
Um,
friends, AltSpace friends that they said if you're able to bring in the terrain, you can do it. I think you can do it. So they kind of I was gonna quit, but they kind of convinced me to stay.
don't quit. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Even if you went there and you only learned a few things, you learned something. And every day learning something is great. Learning is one of the best things we can do, and it doesn't have to be something magnificent. Even the smallest thing that makes our life a little bit easier is worth coming in and learning. Um, so now you mentioned Ryan was the instructor to me earlier, and I guess a lot of people in here know him. I don't personally, but
Yeah.
he's part of the AltSpace community. Is this school in general, was it bigger than AltSpace beforehand, and they brought it into AltSpace, or did it start here in AltSpace?
I think it started here in AltSpace. Mr. Pleasure started the school.
Okay, I know Mr. Pleasure. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So then, yeah, I would like to think that hopefully they will be able to put it across a bunch of different platforms. Let's open up the floor and see
I
if
think
anyone has an.
The Unity classes started today. I think the new one
Okay.
for beginners started today.
Well, they'll have exactly 6 weeks to finish it before AltSpace goes away.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the audience want to ask any questions about the education or about the school or about, CyberShay's journey? If you do, you can just click on the raise hand button down on your right-hand side.
Hey, can you hear me?
We have a question from Anya.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay, perfect. I'm just wondering, I take AP Computer Science at my high school, and I'm wondering what that has to do with this. Like, what can you say about
Um, Anybody can basically take the class. You don't even need any IT skills to take it because I have some friends that started in and they were like, one was she worked at a salon, one was a teacher. So if you just gotta I guess start from the beginners and
that?
start up.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Crypto Man, go ahead.
Well, I like to say I know her since the multiverse, and she's very intelligent. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, Cyber, I'd like to congratulate you what you have done. So, you're a very smart person, and you're going to be a great developer.
Thank you, Crypto.
Okay.
I love hearing the support. That's amazing. And it's great that you jumped platforms over here and, get to share that as well.
Mm.
That's so great. You want
One, one chick.
Yes, hi. Congratulations again, CyberShay. Big fan.
Thank you.
And I got to see some of your work, and you really took to this like a duck to water. Um, I was in the Unity class today with Ryan Vick, so just to answer some questions that CityGirl had, he stated today that he is going to be mostly in spatial with these classes going forward. He said something along the lines, he was following all the big dogs, as it were. And he said Archie's over there and Q-Tech's over there, and he named a couple of other names. And so the class will be continuing. But yeah, he's switching up. He's not making, obviously not making it all space based, but it will be over in spatial.
Great,
Okay.
thank you so much. So that's good. Spatial, is a great platform for holding events. So I'm sure the classes will be good over there. We actually, there's a very strong possibility that Crypto City might be going over to spatial as well. So keep tuned on that. We're looking at spatial, we're looking at Horizon. But spatial right now might be the easiest one to transform over to, simply because they have better hosting tools right now for events. So yeah, it makes sense that the classes would be there. That would be a great platform for it. Um, and so you're taking class too, or were you just there to talk? Oh, I think she muted you.
Oh,
Can we
I
give
didn't.
Wine Chick speaking
Oh, I
ability? There we
didn't.
The
go.
story of my life. Um, anyway, I was over there to take the class. I actually was in his oh gosh, first or second I guess cohort of classes, and I did not have a gaming laptop at the time. And CyberShay is absolutely right. It makes all the difference in the world. I was trying to just do it with my headset and my PC, and now that I have the gaming laptop, I'm really eager to dive back in and do it right this time.
Okay, that's actually good to know, because I do not have a gaming laptop. I have a MacBook, which causes a lot of frustration and difficulty when trying to do this kind of stuff.
Well,
So good to know that if I want to
it's
move
not that you
forward.
can't. It's not that
You
you
can use your
can't, but
MacBook.
just for
It depends
my
on
style
space.
of
Yeah.
learning, I'm very
Mhm.
much, you can't tell me what to do. I have to do it with my own hands. And
Okay.
so that's why having a laptop that I can move around with and use in real time in the classes is super useful. I did learn a lot just from taking the class using my headset and the PC on occasion. I mean, that's where I learned a lot about my design skills that I acquired between that and yes, Miss Blue Moon. Um, I've learned, I did learn a lot without having a gaming laptop. So please don't be thrown off if you don't have the laptop. There's still so much to learn. You do need to at least have a powerful PC though.
Sure, sure. Okay. All right. So this looks like something that, then in general, even if you can't, if you don't have the full, high powered laptop, we can still go in there, get some skills, and help us with our current situation and what we're doing in Unity or Blender. Because you did mention Blender too. Now, Blender, I just recently downloaded that. I've never used it really before. I just downloaded it within the last 2 weeks. Do you feel that Blender is a little more user friendly than Unity?
I haven't. When I took the Blender class, the teaching wasn't as great as Unity class. So I can't really determine. But
Okay.
I heard that they started Blender classes again. So I'm thinking I'm gonna roll back in Blender class. Maybe I needed
Okay.
a different teacher or something. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
start back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes right there, though. If you're willing to go back, you didn't love it the first time, but you're willing to go back in and do it again. That shows that at least
Yeah.
you have faith in the actual school system that they have going on there. So that's great. I like that. Anyone else have anything they'd like to ask or share? If any of you how many people in the audience here, by a show of hearts, has actually attended this school? Okay, so just Wine Chick. Now, El Boogie, you did too, right?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you
Okay.
now. Yes.
Yeah, hey, City Girl. I just want to say
Hey.
congratulations
congratulations to CyberShay. I'm glad that she stuck with the
Thank you.
class and made it through. And like Kim, Wine Chick Kim, me and her both were in class. We were asking questions, struggling through it. Unity is not the friendliest, but we did learn what we could learn.
Mhm.
And sometimes you do just want to throw the computer, you just get frustrated. So I get it. Like,
Yep.
and with Blender too, it just takes a lot of patience, and but I still, try to keep learning as much as I can. If I can't finish a project, I just keep going back because people are very helpful. The teachers are helpful, so it's good to learn. Knowledge is power. So, and even though
Absolutely.
AltSpace is closing, it's other platforms, and we can just learn as much as we can and just build from that. Yeah.
Love to hear that.
So I do
Yeah,
I do understand your pain when you when you said that. I
ah,
do.
some
I
days I'm
get
just
it.
like, and
No,
it's
yeah.
it's funny
And
when
it could
you
be just
when you
one
finally
little
do learn one
thing.
thing.
Right. Or it could be one little thing that you can't quite get, and you've spent hours trying to figure it out, and it's one thing that's a mistake, and you don't know what it is, and you just, yeah, so I
Absolutely.
understand.
No, that's the story of my life. It's one little thing that I'm not checking
Yeah.
or one little thing
Yep.
that I did wrong and that nothing works
Mhm.
and I can't figure it out. And then somebody will come along and go, "Oh, you just meant to click that." And I'm like, "I've been here for 6 hours
Exactly. And
trying to
it's
figure
like,
this out."
okay.
That is exactly why I actually started taking notes in Unity. So when I do
Oh
things
yeah.
like I said, all I do is kits, but I have notes like, okay, click this, do this,
Yep.
like step by
You
step.
have
And
to.
yeah, it makes it so much easier, I mean,
Mhm.
than to try and, I do feel like the best part about like, so let's say you say, okay, well, I took this Unity class, it was for AltSpace, but now there's not going to be AltSpace. It doesn't really matter because the skills that you learn, maybe there's different things you click and maybe there's different ways you upload, but
Right.
understanding how shaders work, how the positions work, like you talked about the axis and stuff, understanding how that works is going to be utilized in all programs, in all projects. It may be slightly different in each one, but if you understand the concept behind it, it makes it easier to learn another project. I mean, I jumped into Spatial to play around a little bit the other day and brought in one of the template worlds that they have there. And I brought it in and I was like, okay, it's not in the right place. And I went in and I found where the axis controls were. And I was like, okay, I need to push it out a little here, down a little here. That's the same as AltSpace, except in AltSpace, you're actually targeting the X, Y, and Z. In there, you actually could grab it and move it around. So you had both ways of doing it. You didn't have to do it on X, Y, and Z. So, but the concept was the same. I understood that one pushes it out, one brings it up, one pushes it down, into place, the rotation and everything. You don't have to do it
Yeah.
exactly the same in all programs, but you have to understand what it means. Otherwise, you're going to
Right.
just be like moving it around willy-nilly and you've got your world somewhere up in the stratosphere while you're standing down here below and you're literally in hell. So I think that's good. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add or ask? I think, CyberShay, if you happen to end up doing some stuff in here before AltSpace closes, I'd love to see it. Maybe you could let me know if
Okay.
you have, a world that you've
Mhm.
done, and we could even do a little road trip one day after
Mhm.
Crypto City. We could drop a portal and we could go over and check out the world that
Hmm.
you've done or some work that
Yeah.
you've done in here so we could kind of see your progress. I think that would be
Mhm.
great.
I have a world. I have one world. It's ready. My Black Panther world.
Oh, it is.
That one is
Okay.
yeah. So whenever
Okay.
you want to go over there, you can go check it out.
Oh, Blue, are we able to drop a portal in here?
We can. There's a question from Tomo. He wants to ask a
Sure.
question.
Okay.
Okay, great. How you doing, Tomo?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you muted again. Hold on. Let us just take you off mute. Hold
Mm.
on. You might have to raise your hand again, Tomo.
I think he muted himself. You have to just unmute yourself because he has a microphone.
Okay.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Can you hear
I
me?
hear you.
Yes,
I
I
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm new here. I just wanted to ask whether Crypto City had anything to do with cryptocurrency or digital assets.
Well, no. Well, yes and no. The correct answer is sometimes. So Crypto City is based about Web3, NFTs. It's more about the cryptography of how everything works together. So we do touch on, cryptocurrency sometimes and utility, but it's more about. It's not. This isn't all about cryptocurrency. So
Okay.
we've had a couple episodes where we've talked about some cryptocurrency stuff, but it's more of the bigger picture, a lot of Web3, NFTs, and, cryptocurrency being part of that whole package.
Is there anyone in here who knows anything about BSV, which is a particular form of Bitcoin?
I do not, but I can
Okay.
connect you if you want to meet up with me afterwards. I can connect you with some people in here who do a lot with cryptocurrency.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Any other questions? Well, we're a little early before the hour, so if
Mhm.
we want to drop a portal so we can go check out your
Okay.
world, that would be great.
Okay.
All
All
you
right.
guys want to do that? Do you guys want to come check out and go see her world? Okay. So
Okay. Let me
Blue, can you give her the power to drop a portal?
No.
She does have the power.
She should be able to drop a portal.
Okay. Let me look for the
You
world.
should be able to drop a portal because you're a host in here.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank you. So for those of you who are coming with us to check out this world, we'll go see what CyberShay has done. If you're not coming along for the ride, thank you so much for being here tonight, and we will see you again next week. And we will be continuing these shows until the last week before all the shows. I believe we until then.
Oh, nice, right?